seriously, breaking news from this afternoon. This is a truly horrific story which we absolutely want to cover. 21, I'll call them lowlives, have been convicted today in the biggest child sex abuse ring ever uncovered by West Midlands Police. These degenerates have been jailed for more than 145 years for their sickening crimes against 7 innocent kids. And every one of those victims, by the way, was under 12 years of age. Now, the offences happened over almost a decade ago around Walsall and Wolverhampton. And this huge 6-year investigation was only triggered after concerns were raised when one of the victims ended up in hospital. Earlier today, one detective described the abuse as the most shocking he had ever seen in his entire career. My hot desk joined me straight away to discuss this truly shocking case. And then other big stories. Former Brexit Party MEP Alex Phillips, lovely to have her. Head of news at the News Movement, Rebecca Huston, lovely to have her. And author and journalist James Bloodworth, thank you all very much indeed. Alex, I'll start with you. I despair sometimes. I sit on this show and these stories break. Safeguarding our children, I would have thought, should be one of the most important things in a civilised society. In the name of the Lord, what are we supposed to do? What should the police be doing? How can this happen repeatedly?
Well, we don't know any details yet, really, do we, about the alleged offences against the children, or the offences against the children as these people have been sentenced, or the nature of those offences. But given the age, one would assume this might potentially relate to something like creating child pornography. And I think it's got to the stage now the government has to take action and get real with regulating the World Wide Web, essentially. I mean, I've argued for a long time, free speech is one thing, but you've essentially got this parallel universe where copious amounts of illegality take place, and there are real-life victims. We've been waiting a long time for the online safety bill. That's nowhere to be seen. And as you said, you know, safeguarding seems to have gone out the window in recent days, and we keep seeing over and over again, whether it's grooming gangs, whether it's this, and again, we don't know a lot of detail about this case, whether it's learning about how many children are being exposed to things like pornography, that the children are no longer at the centre of government policy.
You're talking about the dark web, right, which was brought into sharp focus with Gary Glitter the other day. That's how they nailed him for the second time. Rebecca, to bring you in, these 7 victims, all under 12, 10 years. I don't want to turn this show into a, you know, let's just slag off everybody, but I just, it's abhorrent.
Absolutely, and I think it speaks to, you know, a climate of austerity that's been going on now for 13 years, where we are just not investing in vital services that we need to catch things like this happening. You know, safeguarding in schools, social services, policing of the web. All, you know, as the state contracts and these vital services that keep children safe are not invested in, this is when we can expect to see things like this. And I think also this highlights how useless the rhetoric from Suella Braverman has been earlier this week about grooming gangs belonging to a very specific demographic, British Pakistani men. It clearly isn't the case, and we shouldn't racialise this stuff. You know, there are predators everywhere, and we should be open and accept that everyone...
I agree with you, but I will take immediately a different view for no other reason that it's what I believe. One of the reasons that the Rochdale grooming gang thing took so long to come to be, and there was a report out, the J report, which said that staff members were nervous to bring it, were nervous to say because they feared being accused of being racist. You are absolutely right, is she not, James? It doesn't matter whether it's a British Pakistani male or whoever. Depraved people like that, they don't deserve their liberty at all. I think of those innocent victims. I think of those kids. Is it austerity? Is Rebecca right? Or are we as a society, should we be doing more? Should teachers be more involved? Should parents be more involved in terms of the web and stuff? How do we change this?
I mean, I think austerity makes it... I mean, means the police are under-resourced, so it makes it harder to investigate and catch some of these depraved individuals who are doing this. I mean, you know, it's more people who commit crimes like this in this country will be white, because most people in Britain are white. There was, I mean, with the grooming gangs, there was an issue around it being disproportionately Pakistani men, and I think it should be OK to point that out. I mean, victims of cases like this, they're often traumatised for life. So, I mean, I hope the sentences reflect that and keep some of these people for life.
How can any sentence give back a child's innocence, the child's anything?
No, it just can't. And those children need the utmost protection now, because they're going to have to deal with a lot. And I'm sure that they may... I mean, this has been investigated for a long time, so I assume the children are already getting support. But with it being back on television, with the sentencing being today, that's going to be a lot of relived trauma for them.
I think I would speak for every parent and every sane human being in this country. Whether it's austerity, it can't be allowed in a civilised society. And for all those people who talk about rehabilitation, that lot, they should rot for. It's beyond me as a parent.